Hi, this is Chris Walker. Okay, let's be real for a second. You know that feeling? You're standing in the aisle at Best Buy, or maybe you're scrolling Amazon at 11 p.m., eyes glazing over, and you see it. It's a 65-inch 4K TV. It's got the logo you grew up with, Samsung, Sony, maybe LG. And the price tag is surprisingly doable, $700, maybe $800. You think, okay, it's a legacy brand. It's gotta be decent, right? It's a safe bet. So you pull the trigger. And that right there is the single biggest financial mistake happening in home theater in 2026. Because here's what happens. You get it home, you mount it, you turn on the Batman or some dark, gritty sci-fi, and the blacks look gray. The motion is jittery. It just looks flat. You realize with this sinking feeling that you didn't buy a deal. You paid what I call the legacy tax. You bought a plastic daj, not a TV. The reality is the market has completely fractured this year. While you were looking at those safe brands, high-end tech like RGB MiniLED and Tandem OLED crashed into the mid-range price bracket. I'm talking about screens that absolutely smoke those legacy panels for the exact same money. But nobody tells you that in the brochure. I'm gonna stop you from burning your cash today. But hey, look, real quick, we bought every single panel in this lineup with our own budget. No sponsors, no golden samples sent by PR teams, no strings attached. If you value that kind of unfiltered, slightly aggressive honesty, do me a solid. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. It actually helps us fight the algorithm and keeps these reviews unbought. All right, let's fix this. So how did we get here? How did we get to a point where the most famous TV brands in America are selling you 2019 technology at 2026 prices? It's actually pretty simple. Inertia. They're banking on the fact that your dad bought a Samsung or your college roommate had a Sony, and those TVs were bulletproof. And they were 10 years ago. An edge-lit LED was fine. It was the standard. But technology moves fast, faster than corporate product cycles. While the giants were sleeping, or rather while they were busy figuring out how to shove more ads into your home screen interface, the underlying tech shifted. We moved from standard LEDs, where a few lights on the side blast light across the whole screen, to mini LEDs. Thousands of tiny lights behind the screen, turning on and off individually. That shift, it's massive. It's the difference between a flashlight and a laser. But here's the kicker. The big legacy brands have mini LED tech. They do, but they gatekeep it. They lock it behind the $1,800 or $2,500 price tags. And down here, in the $700 to $900 budget, they serve you leftovers. Let's start with the elephant in the room, the best-selling mistake on Amazon right now, the Samsung DU800, or honestly, any of the Crystal UHD line variants. I see people buying this thing by the truckload. I see it in Costco carts every weekend, and it hurts my soul. Because on paper, it looks fine. 4K, HDR, motion accelerator. It sounds fast, right? Here's the reality. This panel is edge-lit. That means instead of a grid of lights behind the picture, you have a strip of LEDs along the bottom or sides just hoping for the best, trying to light up the middle of the screen from the edge. In 2026, on a 65-inch screen, that is unacceptable. Look at the contrast, or the lack of it. Because there's no local dimming, literally zero zones, when the TV tries to show a bright moon on a dark sky, it has to light up the whole vertical strip. You get these massive gray bars. We call it flashlighting. It destroys immersion. If you watch movies with the lights off, this TV will drive you insane. And that motion accelerator marketing jargon, that is code for we are faking it. This is a 60 Hz panel. In an era where the PS5, the Xbox, and even PC gaming are standardized at 120 Hz, buying a 60 Hz TV is like buying a car that's governed to 45 miles per hour. Sure, it drives, but you're hitting the ceiling immediately. If you watch sports, hockey, football, that 60 Hz refresh rate means fast motion gets smeary. The puck disappears, the ball loses definition. The DU8000 is $750. You're paying about $300 for the TV and $400 for the word Samsung printed on the bezel. It's a zombie TV, walking dead tech. Do not do it. Hi, Okay, quick pause. I know I just went pretty hard on that one, but I need to know, am I being too harsh, or have you guys actually bought one of these entry-level big brand TVs and felt that regret? Actually, do this for me. Jump into the comments right now. Tell me what product, doesn't have to be a TV, could be soundbars, headphones, whatever. What product are you looking at right now that you're suspicious of? What do you want me to buy and tear apart in the next video? I read those comments for the first 24 hours, and that is literally how we pick the schedule. So let me know. All right, let's wash the taste of that edge-lit panel out of our mouths. Let's look at what $900 should buy you. This is the TCL QM8, specifically the 2026 refresh. If the Samsung was a butter knife, this is a chainsaw. We are talking about MiniLED, and not just a few. This thing has over 2,000 local dimming zones. Remember the Samsung had 0? 2,000. What does that mean for you? It means when there's an explosion on screen, the fire is blindingly bright, like squint your eyes bright, but the shadow next to it stays perfectly black. It creates pop, that 3D look that makes 4K actually look like 4K. The brightness on this unit hit 2,400 nits in our 10% window test. For context, most cinema purist OLEDs hover around 800 to 1,000 nits. This thing is a light cannon. This is who this TV is for. If you have a living room with big windows, maybe you watch football on Sunday afternoons with the sun glaring in, you need horsepower, you need brightness to fight those reflections. The QM8 wins that fight. And gamers, it's a 144Hz native panel. It supports VRR, variable rate refresh. You plug your PS5 in, it automatically detects it, kicks into game mode, and the input lag drops to almost nothing. It feels snappy, it feels responsive. But I told you I'd be honest, it's not perfect. The processing, it's okay. It's not Sony level. If you're watching low-quality cable news or old 720p YouTube videos, the upscaling can look a little jagged, a little over-sharpened, and the menu system can be a bit glitchy. Sometimes it hangs for a second before opening an app. It's a brute force TV. It's a muscle car. It's loud, it's fast, it's powerful, but it doesn't handle the corners with the elegance of a European sports car. But for $999, it is embarrassing the legacy brands. Now, what if you want the brightness of the TCL, but you want the color accuracy to be richer, better? Enter the Hisense 65UR9. This is the disruptor of 2026. Price tag, around $1,299. So we're stepping up a little in budget, but we are stepping way up in tech. Hisense is using something new here called RGB Mini LED. Okay, quick science lesson, don't fall asleep. Most LED TVs use blue lights coated in yellow stuff to make white light. It works, but it's muddy. The UR9 is using discrete colored LEDs. The result is color volume. That's the buzzword for 2026. On a normal TV, when things get really bright, colors wash out. They turn pastel. On the UR9, a bright red Ferrari in the sun stays bright red. It doesn't turn pinkish white. This coverage is approaching QD OLED territory, but unlike OLED, this thing doesn't fear the sun. We measured peaks over 3,000 nits. It is bordering on uncomfortable in a dark room if you don't turn the backlight down. The interface is Vita or Google TV depending on your region, and it's surprisingly quick. But here's the catch, and there's always a catch. Viewing angles. It's a VA panel. If you have a massive wraparound couch and you stick Aunt Marge way off in the corner recliner, she's going to see a washed out image. This is a sit in front of it TV. Also, quality control. Hisense is getting better, but we still see reports of the dirty screen effect, where solid colors look like they have faint smudges on them. It's a panel lottery. You might get a perfect one, you might get one with a smudge. That's the risk you run to get this level of specs for $1,300 instead of $3,000.
So we've got the zombie, the muscle car, and the color cannon. But what if you're a purist? What if you don't care about burning your retinas, you just want perfection? That's where things get really interesting, because the OLED market just did something we didn't think was possible this year. So we've looked at the muscle cars, but what if you don't care about hitting 3,000 nits? What if you care about perfection? For years, OLED was the gold standard, infinite contrast, perfect blacks, but it had a dirty little secret. Two of them, actually. One, it wasn't bright enough to fight a sunny room, and two, the fear. that nagging anxiety that if you left CNN on for too long, the ticker would burn itself permanently into your expensive panel. Well, in 2026, LG just fixed it. This is the LG C6, and for the first time in the C-series history, they're using Tandem WOLED panels. Okay, Tandem. It sounds like a bike for two people, but here's what it actually means. Instead of one layer of organic material lighting up, they stacked two. It's the same tech Apple put in the iPad Pro to keep it from burning out. By using two layers, they can run the screen brighter while actually stressing the pixels less. It's like having two engines pulling the same load. The result, the C6 is finally bright enough for a normal living room, and the burn-in risk, it's arguably gone for normal use. And for gamers, this is still the benchmark. 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, not 2 like the other guys. Dolby Vision gaming at 120 Hz. The input lag is practically non-existent. It just works. But I have to point out the quirk, the LG Pink. On some of these WOLED panels, if you look at a pure white hockey rink or a snowstorm, you might see a slight pinkish tint at the edges. It's subtle, most people never see it, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. Just a heads up. Now, let's talk about the brand that thinks it's better than everyone else, the Sony Bravia 7. If the TCL is a shotgun, the Sony is a sniper rifle. On paper, you are getting ripped off. Fewer dimming zones than the TCL, lower peak brightness than the Hisense, and it costs more, around $1,799. So why would anyone buy this?
Processing, Sony's XR processor is still untouchable. It takes garbage signals, cable news, compressed sports streams, old DVDs, and makes them look incredible. It cleans up the noise without making everyone look like wax figures. And the motion, it respects the movies. If you are a film nerd, if you own a Criterion collection, you buy the Sony. It doesn't try to make The Godfather look like a video game. It just shows you what the director intended. But yes, you are paying the Sony tax. You're paying $500 extra for a better brain inside the TV, even if the muscles aren't as big. But what if you want it all? What if you want the brightness of LED, the black levels of OLED, and you have a wallet that you hate? This is the Samsung S95H, the QD OLED flagship. Price? Don't ask. Okay, it's $2,800. This is Quantum Dot OLED. It takes the perfect blacks of the LG and injects them with pure color energy. Red laser beams, neon green lightsabers, they don't lose saturation at high brightness. It is, without a doubt, the best picture quality you can buy in 2026. They've also added this matte anti-glare coating and an art mode borrowed from the frame. It's gorgeous. But, and this is a deal breaker for some of you, Samsung still refuses to support Dolby Vision. They use their own HDR10 Plus format. It's a stubborn corporate ego war. If you watch a lot of Netflix or Disney Plus, you are not getting the premium Dolby Vision metadata. You're getting the standard HDR. Does it matter? To 99% of people, no. The TV is so good it brute forces a great image anyway. But for $2,800, that omission is arrogant. Hi, so we've covered the mistake, the value king, the disruptor, the safe bet, the cinephile, and the Ferrari. That is a lot of noise. And usually this is the part where reviewers say, it depends on what you like, and leave you confused. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to group these into 3 specific buckets. I'm going to tell you exactly which one fits your specific living room, and then I'm going to drop a truth bomb about the one feature you absolutely need to turn off the second you unbox any of these.
All right, let's land this plane. We've thrown a lot of specs at you. Nits, zones, tandem layers, but specs don't sit in your living room. You do. And usually buyers fall into one of 3 very specific buckets. I want you to figure out which one you are right now. Bucket number 1. The Sunroom Warrior. If you have Windows, if you watch football at 1 p.m. on a Sunday, if you mostly game or stream sports, do not buy the OLED. Just don't. You will spend half your life squinting at it. For you, the TCL QM8 is the weapon of choice. It is a light cannon. It overpowers the sun. It doesn't care about glare. It just brute forces a clear image into your eyeballs. And because it's mini LED, you don't have to baby it. You can leave the ESPN ticker on for 8 hours straight and never worry about burn-in. It is the tank.
Bucket number 2, the cinema purist. If you watch movies at night, if you care about director's intent, if you want the stars in Star Wars to look like actual points of light, not blurry smudges, you need the LG C6. That Tandem OLED tech is magic. The infinite contrast creates a depth that no LED, I don't care how many zones it has, can match. It's not just a TV, it's a window. It disappears. Bucket number 3, the value hacker. You want 95% of the performance of the $3,000 flagship, but you want to pay $1,300. You are willing to play the panel lottery. You are willing to deal with a slightly quirky menu system. You buy the Hisense UR9. The color volume on this thing is illegal for the price point. It embarrasses the big brands. And let me be crystal clear about bucket number 4, the victim. Do not be the person who spends $750 on a 60 Hz edge-lit Samsung or LG just because you recognize the name. Friends don't let friends buy edge-lit panels in 2026. Put that money toward the TCL or the Hisense, or just save it. Hi, this is Chris Walker. Okay, here is the verdict, the answer. If I'm spending my own money, if I'm buying a TV for my living room where I watch movies, play a little PS5, and stream Netflix, I am buying the LG C6. The Tandem OLED update is the reliability fix we've been waiting for. It's the most balanced, beautiful, headache-free TV on the market. It just works. But if I have a strict budget, if $2,000 is insane to me and I have $1,200 max, I am buying the Hisense UR9. The RGB mini LED tech is real innovation, not marketing fluff. It is the best bang for buck screen we have ever tested on this channel. Period. Now, before you click those links and go buy one, I have to drop a truth bomb. There is a setting on every single one of these TVs, Samsung, LG, Sony, Hisense, all of them, that is turned on by default, and it is destroying your picture quality. It's called Eco Mode, or Energy Saving Step. Out of the box, these TVs are choked. They're limited to meet energy regulation standards. The second, and I mean the second you get that TV out of the box, you go into the menu, you find the power saving setting, and you turn it off. If you don't do this, you aren't seeing the 2,000 nits you paid for. You're seeing a dimmed down, restrained version of your TV. Unlock the thing. Let it eat. Look, the links to the specific models we recommend, the panels that passed our testing, not the random variants, are right down there in the description. We keep those updated so you don't accidentally buy the 2025 model or the wrong series. Using those links keeps this channel alive, keeps us independent, and keeps us honest. Don't buy the mistake, buy the tech. I'll see you in the next one.